Are you sure my voice just wasn't distorted?
No, your voice was not distorted. That'd be
It was just
impressive,
me.
though.
It was just me.
Yeah.
How about that?
There you go. We'll roll with that.
Oh, sometimes DJ to my voice these crazy things.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. All right, man. You ready to talk about some church service?
Absolutely.
To anyone tuned in, this is the Men Church Stuff podcast. It's the show where brothers-in-law DJ Culp and Brad Coleman talk about what it's like being Christian men in today's society. Having spent our entire lives immersed in church culture, we want to share our experiences with other men who are willing to listen. We'll talk life stuff, church stuff, man stuff, and, well, stuff. Let's get to it. Well, welcome listeners everywhere, wherever you are that's listening. Welcome to the Men Church Stuff podcast. I'm one of your hosts, DJ Culp, as always, here with my dearly beloved brother-in-law, Brad Coleman. How's it going over there, Brad? How's today?
Howdy, y'all. I'm doing pretty good. It's a pretty day.
Happy Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I had a professor in graduate school who said, like, anytime he would give us an assignment, he would say, "This is due on Wednesday, the day of weddings." Friday was the day of fried foods. He had nothing to say for Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday.
Tuesday's for tacos.
Tuesday is for tacos. I like that one.
I'm pretty sure that's official. Yeah.
We had a Taco John's in Murray that would always do like a big Taco Tuesday. It was a hip spot to go to in the middle of the week.
Taco John's.
They got good tacos, man.
I've never been to a Taco John's.
They're really good.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Like John is not the guy that I would think makes great tacos, but maybe that's just wrong of me. Maybe I'm just
it should have been Taco Wands, yeah.
Judging by
yeah.
That's funny. I mean, in fairness, I don't want to go to Bill's Chinese restaurant, but
yeah.
But maybe it's awesome. Maybe it's great.
Could be, right.
But for the record, like, I don't even know if there is a Bill's Chinese restaurant. So
no, if there is, maybe good. Yeah. That's right.
Like, we have the best Chinese ever. Like,
man, we had a Chinese restaurant up north that was actually called the Purple Place because the roof was purple.
There you go.
So, and it was really good from what I remember. I mean, I was a kid, so.
I mean, when I was in Eastern Kentucky, and I think it's still there, it had El Azul Grande. It was a Mexican restaurant. You know, the Big Blue.
The Big Blue.
The Big Blue, I think is what it translates. And I don't know if they did it because of like UK, like football, basketball stuff.
Right.
But,
yeah.
It was good food.
That's funny.
Probably still is.
Yeah. So we actually have a listener request today.
Did they say, please stop? You guys are driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Please don't
knock it off. Knock it off. If you could find other things to do with your time, we would be much appreciative. Considering that what we're doing is free anyways, you know?
Yeah, that's right. You guys are just bugging me for existing out there in the podcast land.
Right. And I feel the need to click on it, and then I feel the need to listen to it, and I find myself hating your guts. Please stop. Yeah. So, we got a listener request, man. Mama Bear Coleman, or at Mama Bear Coleman, which is, she wants to hear about church service, and not like a church service, but serving the church. And
as the church.
Do what now?
Or serving as the church.
Or serving as a church. Yeah. So the question that she raised was, what does service to the church look like?
Hmm.
And I'd be willing to say that's a large question that I think it's a great one to discuss. But so Brad, you being a pastor, would you like to start this one off, or do you want to do you want to like maintain some foreign policy and let me and let me kind of start the game?
No, I think it's great. Gosh, there are so many angles that you can go with this question. Let me say, first off, when we think about service, we have to look at Jesus. I mean, as a church, we should always be doing that.
That's correct. Yeah, right.
Like, no matter
what's the answer,
and
Jesus.
When we think about being angry,
Jesus,
like,
yeah.
How did Jesus do that? When we think about,
yeah.
when we get sad, how did Jesus do that?
Yeah. Why are you not walking on water? Why are you not creating like thousands and thousands of meals out of very little things? I mean, come on. Get with the program here.
Oh, don't get me distracted. All right, service. So Jesus came and he loved and he served and he showed us an example.
Yeah.
He washed his disciples' feet once that we know of. He didn't necessarily do that all the time, but he was making a point. But he did it on the way to the cross, which is even more impressive. Yeah. But here's one of the things when I think about service, when I think about what Jesus says, right? It's different than what we tend to think. And I can be guilty of this just as much as anybody else, especially as a pastor whom,
talk about that.
There's pressure to numbers. Let's get more people. Let's do this. And so there's this nice little thing called ROI, return on investment.
Sure.
Return on investment. And so we tend to think, what's my ROI? What's my return on the investment?
Yeah, sure.
And it's not that in and of itself is wrong. Because I think, is this ministry being effective? Are we, as we're serving? However, Jesus tells us to give. So I'm going to make that jump, give, serve, give of ourselves without expecting anything in return.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So when you give to the poor, make sure your right hand doesn't know what your left hand is doing. Sure.
Right. Do your alms in secret. Because the Lord who sees in secret will reward you openly. Yeah. But if you do it before men, to be seen of men, then that's your reward. It's like, hey, if you're doing this to get podcast views, there you go. That's your reward.
Right.
You missed out on some more awesome stuff that I was going to give you. What's your choice? But return on investment, because I think one of the things that sometimes we do is we overlook the groups that we really need to minister to probably the most, because those are the groups that can't give us anything in return. James says what pure and undefiled religion is this: visiting orphans and widows in their distress, and keeping themselves unstained by the world. So widows and orphans, especially, I mean, even today, obviously still a group that is very needy, but orphans and widows, biblical times, are like, they got nothing. They got nobody.
Right.
Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to help them? And you notice he says in their distress.
Right.
So when they need help, and when an orphan needs help, what are you getting back from that orphan?
You're not going to get anything. Not at all.
They don't have anything to give you.
Nor should you, Right. Yeah.
So, again, in the church, we sometimes we want to spiritualize things. And again, I'm not against these things in and of themselves. I think we just got to be careful that they don't become the main thing.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh yeah, but conversions, people coming to Jesus. And I want people to come to Jesus. I mean, if I don't, I'm a horrible pastor.
Yeah, right.
If I'm not preaching the gospel, if I'm not sharing the gospel, if I'm not,
if you're lost, then please don't come to our church until you get there.
We're just looking for saved people here.
It's looking for the
righteous. Right. That's what Jesus did, right? He said, "I came to to seek out the righteous." No, he's
right. Yeah,
they didn't come to the righteous. He came to seek sinners to repent.
I only came for the people that already know my name. That's exactly right. Yeah, not at all.
The other thing that I think is important in service is 1 Corinthians 13,
Mm-hmm.
the love chapter.
Yeah, sure.
Because God says in his word in 1 Corinthians 13, I'm going to paraphrase. Right?
Yeah.
If you do all the right things, but you do them with the wrong heart, without love,
Yep.
then it profits you nothing.
It's completely vain.
Yeah. So I think when we're serving, we need to seek to serve in the right ways, and we need to seek to serve in the right heart.
Yeah.
And how do we do that? I honestly think, DJ, that we've got to go to Jesus to be able to do that. Like, we don't have the ability in and of ourselves apart from Jesus. Now, he told the apostles, what? Apart from me, you can do nothing. So There's my argument. But when we try to do these things on our own, we're going to tend to skew over into selfishness. And what am I getting out of this?
Yeah, right.
But when we're going to Jesus, and he is the thing, the importance, he is and really, maybe I should have started with this.
Yeah.
Who are we serving? Like, primarily,
right,
God.
Yeah.
Like, that's our primary service is to God, and then to others, right? Then to our neighbor, who I have historically defined as everyone else on the planet.
Yeah.
and
exactly
now
right.
in space.
And now in space. Yeah.
Yeah, those people too. And maybe in the future on Mars.
Perhaps.
We'll see.
Yeah. But not right now.
Not that I know of. Currently,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody on Mars. All right. So
yeah.
I'm going to let you roll for a little bit. I'm going to sip this coffee.
Yeah, sure.
Before I take up the whole episode.
No, like, I think you're exactly right. I mean, it's impossible to not be exactly right with what you said. But so from somebody who's not a pastor, service in the church often, and I know that you know these numbers, and listeners, for those of you that know these numbers too, it's really sad that this is a reality, but service in the church from not a pastor typically ends up being the 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule is 80% of people, or 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Yep. And the negative about that is, and I'm not going to talk about the people that are serving. The negative about that is that what I don't know, what I'm not going to venture to answer, because I really don't know, I can speculate, is whether or not the 80% that aren't serving the church, in terms of like the definition of service at that point being, what are you contributing beyond a butt in the seat, beyond standing when the pastor tells me to stand? I'm going to drop my kids off at Sunday school, which I think is wonderful stuff. So my apologies if I'm being sort of tongue in cheek about it.
Dropping your kids off at Sunday school on the way to your Sunday school class.
On the way that's very true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So my apologies that the assumption is that everybody does go to church, right? Yeah. So, but what I'm curious about is, does that 80% of people that are not active in contributing the way the 20% are, do they care? And that's, like, I understand fully that that's really blunt, but that's kind of who I am. But it's also a question that I think needs to be asked. And the reason it needs to be asked is because of this. Now looking at the 20% of people that do serve, Sunday school teachers, volunteers for different types of events, evangelizing, however the pastor, or however, different programs in the church may want us to evangelize, whatever the case is, and serving on committees, serving the music ministry, all of those things. Like, burnout is real. Burnout and actually in my profession, in the world of music ed, we don't call it burnout, we call it fatigue. And when I call it, when I frame it that way, so there are, just to kind of give you the idea of what fatigue means in this sense, there are concert festivals that bands and choirs, middle school and high school will go to, and there's like 3 judges typically at those things that sit in their seats for usually 2 days. And they sit in those seats grand total for probably somewhere between probably 16 to 19 hours. And they use
and they don't win a truck at the end.
They don't win a trophy. They don't get a truck. That's right. So what they do is performances come through, they rate. Performances come through, they rate. At the end of that, there is actually a category that in the world of music ed research, if you look at when you start to talk about how did my band or choir do, there is something that you have to factor in to your ratings that is actually called adjudicator fatigue, because you're not fresh anymore. Trust me, dude. By band or choir 8, you don't care.
Like, right. Whatever.
I don't want to hear this.
Everybody's getting a 7.
Everybody's getting a 7. That's right. I want to go home. So like it's a real thing. And the reason I said all of that is because it actually applies exactly the same, except without ratings in the church. And when I say it that way, so Brad, the church that I'm at, the church that we're at now, and the churches that I have attended in the past, or that we have attended in the past, I have typically been the only drummer. Mm-hmm. And like there are times where I feel guilty taking a vacation because I know that there's not going to, I know that the chance of that seat being filled is very slim. Mm-hmm. When we were in Murray, I hated taking vacations because I felt so much obligation to that role. Yeah. Now, I hope that our listeners are not thinking, well, good for you. Look at you tooting your own horn. That's not the point. The point is
he's a drummer.
Yeah. The point I'm a drummer, right? Yeah. Horn. We're morons. Yeah. No, the point is that like anybody that are in those positions that find themselves not kind of really having an opportunity to take a breath, if it's teaching Sunday school, if it's, volunteering for events, whatever the case is, it's the same people. That's what, so there's 20% of people do 80% of the work. Like burnout, it becomes actually something that's more universal than I'd really rather not. Can I sleep in today? It almost, in my experience, I have seen it becomes, I want to stop serving, but if I stop serving, people are going to notice. So therefore I'm equating, I'm going to stop serving with, I need to go to a different church.
Yeah.
Now, and I'm going to say that's like that end is kind of extreme, but at the same time, I mean, how do you at that point in time, how do you serve? So to me, service in the church, as more as sort of this practical, where can I contribute my time to achieve what I can for my church, for the kingdom of God. This what did you call it? The rate of return? Is that what it is?
ROI, the return on investment.
Return on investment. Yeah. Return on investment. Like if I'm getting called on and called on and called on and called on, I'm okay. This is me personally. I'm okay up to a point of, wait a minute, I'm beginning to see like the same people being recycled here, So
I've got about 35 things that this has brought up on my mind, so I'm going to try.
Yeah, sure, right.
It's like, wow, we could just make a podcast about this, DJ. Like
just service to the church.
Service, yeah.
Yeah.
So let me go here because I think it's what's on my heart.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I think God is trying to teach me. I think I'm teachable, but I'm also stubborn.
You think you're what?
I think I'm teachable, but I'm also stubborn.
Yeah.
And so sometimes God's really got to just drive and drive and drive and drive and drive and drive.
Yeah.
To get it in me. I could easily sit here as a pastor and pick on people for not serving.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that.
And I'm not going to do that. I want you to understand too that the reason I was not meaning to pick on the 80%.
I'm not saying that you are. I'm just saying like it would be easy for me to just sit here and use this as a soapbox for
right. Sure.
Why don't people show up? Why don't I have leaders? Why don't I have this? I'm gonna turn the table a little bit.
Okay.
Pick on myself.
All right, you pick on yourself. I'll
So
I'll be here for your emotional support so you pick on yourself
emotional
and
support,
I'll encourage you,
dagger.
boost you up. Yeah. 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 I'm not going to be the
I'll help
pessimistic
you
nagger
along,
today.
Brad. I'll
Yeah.
help you along as you're picking on yourself.
Right. Yeah.
I think as pastors, as leaders in the church, we need to ask some questions of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easy for people to come in and serve? Are there opportunities for them to come in and serve? Do they know about the opportunities? Do they know they're wanted? Do they know that we want them to come in and serve and be a part?
Dude, that's a great question. Is it easy for people to serve? I've never thought about it from that frame of mind. That's awesome. Continue, but I think that's a great question.
And in that, what happens with introverts who want to serve?
That's exactly right.
But they're not going to come up and go, "Hey, pastor, yeah, I'd love to lead a ministry."
Yeah,
or I'd love to, So, and I'll be honest, DJ, I don't do a great job at that. Administration is one of the things that I've always known it's not my strong suit.
Sure.
However, I think I'm finding more and more how important that is.
Yeah.
Because from a standpoint of being a pastor, you're leading the church. Well, you're pastoring, you're preaching, and you're overseeing.
Sure.
And so, and overseeing being more of the administration. Pastoring more of the loving on your people and being there for them and leading, kind of, shepherding, I guess, in that sense.
Yeah.
Obviously the preaching and the teaching is stick with the word,
right?
Say what God said. But the administration, the overseeing, the making sure that these things are going, making sure that there are roads into service, making sure people understand the expectations when they're serving, because that's one of the things I've done very poorly, I think, is letting people get into positions, and then I find out later they really got no idea what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Well, how do you know if you're doing it right, or if you need to do it better? So if you have no idea,
Brad, can we like kind of park here just for a second, because I think that's a really good opportunity to kind of acknowledge the importance. And our work world, like anybody who has a full-time job anywhere does not like the word training, because all that simply means in most of our world is, I have a 3-hour video that was recorded back in the 70s, and the people don't actually know where the camera is, and they're using.
I'm not actually going to watch or listen to them most of the time,
because they're using sock puppets to teach me something. No.
Give me the questions, and I'll just answer them the best I can.
That's right. Can I stop this? That's right.
Multiple choice.
So I think the training the people in the church on how to serve is the exact same form of the way that Jesus trained his disciples. He trained his disciples by walking with them, saying, okay, no, you feed them. But Jesus, we don't have enough money. I know you don't, but I want you to try, let's think critically here.
Yeah.
Jesus, can I come out and walk to you? Yeah, sure. You can walk to me. Oh crap, I'm sinking. Because you took your eyes off of me. So
wish we had a word for that, discipleship.
No, it's just not. It can't be discipleship. We don't like the word discipleship. That means that we have to do it. What other things can we say? Sorry. I might edit that out. Probably not, but I might. So, no, the idea of what is the person who is training, and I'm going to use the word vision kind of loosely here. Not in like a pastoral vision, though from your perspective that would be what you would use, but anybody who trains somebody else is not just showing them here's how to do the here and now, but it's also meant to incorporate the future. Like what is this supposed to do to make whatever ministry successful? But I also think a really important part of service and / training in that regard is also who the person is that is serving, because whoever it is that's carrying out this task, it's going to look differently because that person who's carrying it out is different.
Yep.
So continue. But I really want to park there and kind of unpack that a bit.
I think that's good. I think moving on though from there, some of those questions is, do people want to serve? Do people want to serve?
Yeah.
And do people have ability to serve? Do they have the gifts to serve? All right.
Yeah.
Well, one is very simple, because God tells us, if we're saved, then He has given us at least one spiritual gift.
Yeah.
That He's gifted us through the Spirit.
Yep.
Through God's Spirit. That means that gift, if I understand correctly, is empowered, not just given, but empowered by God's Holy Spirit.
That's right. Which means that it is actually not part of your natural makeup. You're exactly right. And therefore, I would argue, I'm curious to hear, I'd like to hear you on this, but I would argue, Brad, that because it's not part of your natural makeup, if you look for that spiritual gift on a day-to-day basis, you're not going to find it, because it's not part of your natural makeup. You can only find it if you are presented with opportunities or take opportunities to incorporate whatever that spiritual gift is, because you are serving in a capacity that requires it. Does that make sense? What do you think about that?
Yeah. So let's take, for me, right? So I think one of my spiritual gifts, and I guess part of it's like, well, as a pastor, it better be, right? one of my spiritual gifts is teaching. The ability to teach, to break things down for people so they can understand. So it's not just about sharing knowledge, but it's about sharing knowledge in a way that other people can grasp that knowledge and take that knowledge on. So there's times when I will feel horrible, right? I feel horrible, whether it's physically, I'm just tired, I'm sick, maybe I got a headache, maybe I'm just discouraged. And I'll go teach on Wednesday night. I'll lead Bible study.
Yeah.
And while I'm there, will just be so hyped up, so full of energy. I mean, I never look like it. My face is my face.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Yeah.
And my wife says, look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. That's where he shows his excitement.
That's as I mentioned several episodes ago, that's the Bob Newhart. Yeah.
It's like this is, but this is Brad. Will feel, I mean, I could be feeling like just sick and just ready to do nothing. And I go over there and I'm so energized. And oftentimes on my way back home, there it all just like, oh, there it was. There's the feel bad. There's the everything. Just and it got me thinking. I was like, why is that? Why is that? And like one day I was like, it's probably because that's a spiritual gift. That is something that God's empowering by His Spirit, through His Spirit.
Right. Yeah.
So the Spirit is, I don't know, can we say it kicking in?
Yeah.
God's Spirit. It's more driving. And I will tell you, in those moments, there's times when I learn on the go. I mean, I'll look down at a passage that I'm teaching, which hopefully I've studied for, read over. And I'm like, in that moment when I look down, it's like,
I know. Yeah.
Ding, like oh, hey, let me share with.
That's what this means. Yeah.
Just happened. Like, just,
yeah.
So, but I think I have the ability to teach, outside, like math and things that aren't necessarily spiritual. I mean, God made it all, so everything aspect. But I think there's a difference with that energy, with that empowering. So anyway, we've all got gifts. So the answer to that one question, circling back, is can they serve? Yes. And they should, because God gave us those gifts to be used, not to be buried, not to be closeted.
Oh, man. That's right.
Now I think
the talent that was buried. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think sometimes people are scared to use it. Sometimes people are so convinced that it's not good enough. Look, God has given me, I think, the spiritual gift of teaching, but I won't tell you that I'm the best teacher ever, because I'm not.
Right.
You know, I could probably list you just right off the top of my head some people that I would tell you are better teacher preachers than me
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
That I'm learning and growing. So just because we have a spiritual gift doesn't mean that, oh, all of a sudden I can paint like Picasso. Well,
Right.
Picasso, that's a bad example because I never
Michelangelo.
really appreciated his work. Yeah, like yeah, Michelangelo,
Leonardo. Sure.
like Da Vinci. You know, no,
There's a lot of people who paint like
because
Picasso.
God
Yeah.
wants us to grow too, right?
Yeah.
He wants us to grow and develop, and because how can we teach others too? Like I think there's some people that have the spiritual gift of evangelism, but we're all called to evangelism.
That's very true. Yes.
I think
Yes.
some people, it's just boom. It's like kick, and they can talk to people, and
Yep.
it's easy. And I think in some ways, those people are supposed to help other people learn how to do it.
Right.
They're going to use it to serve the church, not just by evangelizing,
Right.
but by helping other people. Hey, look, did you know that you can talk to people that you don't know? Like you can? Oh, there's some people listening like me. It's like, do I have to?
Yeah, but do I have to? Sure.
Do I have to? But my second question, or coming back, or maybe it was my first, I don't remember which order it was in, but the question that we haven't answered yet,
yeah, right,
is do they want to?
Yeah,
do they want to? Now, I think sometimes we get down to the spirit is willing and the flesh is weak.
Yep.
There's the part. But I think if a person has been saved by Jesus Christ, they have been born again, they have become alive spiritually, I think that desire is there, whether they realize it or not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so as a pastor, I think I've got to do better at following God's lead and drawing that out of people, giving them opportunities to serve. I mean, again, you talked about Jesus feeding the 5,000.
Yeah.
Right. What about the little boy who gave up his meal?
Yeah.
When he gave his meal, he, sitting like us, he didn't know what's going to happen.
No clue.
Right.
Yep.
So, he's probably not going, I'm going to have more than I started with.
Right.
He may be going like, hey, there's a lot of people here. I'm not going to get to eat lunch today.
Yeah.
Boom. Wasn't he surprised?
Yeah.
Jesus doesn't need it. Jesus doesn't need it, but he uses it. Why?
Yeah.
Because he wants to involve his people in his work.
Yes. And Brad, I think that's something. So I know that the 80-20 rule, that's one of the things that I did mention. But another thing that I mentioned about, what does it look like? So I can talk about, and I think it's easiest. I think the low hanging fruit is what are the opportunities that are there to serve. I think that's one very easy conversation to have is what does it look like? But I think the other part is you're alluding to it. What does service look like? Okay, so rather than looking at where can I serve, why don't we look at the ones who are serving? Mm-hmm. Like we are the people that are serving, we are learning things about ourselves through Christ that we would otherwise have not known. Mm-hmm. We are learning, and Jesus himself through his Holy Spirit is revealing to us what is it about ourselves that you have found value of. Because again, like you said, and I totally agree, God doesn't actually need us to complete anything, but he loves us so much that he wants us to. And like I love the fact that you mentioned the little boy because I've heard just here more recently, when I don't know where, but I've heard that this particular Bible story. So often we talk about, and rightly so, we often talk about like how Jesus blessed the 5,000, what the 5,000 may have experienced, how it impacted his disciples. But actually, who kind of gets left out of the story, or maybe we give like a little nod to and then move on, is how did this little boy's life change because he actually gave the food up? Yeah.
And again, not knowing what's going to happen. I mean, I'm going to go off the assumption that, I mean, he's a little boy.
Right.
So their faith is greater than ours, I think, sometimes, because
Yeah.
that's what you just be like little children. I
Right.
mean, so maybe he's just antsy. He's like, oh man, I've seen him do some other stuff. I can't wait to see what he's going to do with this.
Yeah. Right. It could
Um,
have been. Yeah.
but the reality too that he's probably going, okay, if I give my lunch, I'm not expecting to get more. So hopefully I'll get a little piece of bread and fish.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Here it is. Um, let me go to the other end because you're talking about the 80-20,
Yeah.
20-80, whatever.
2080. Yeah. Sure.
The 20% doing 80. Um, Christian people, it is not wrong for you to say no and have boundaries.
That's right.
God has boundaries. God says no.
You got it, Brad.
God wants us to go the extra mile. Yes. But he didn't say the extra 20.
Yeah.
So they compel you to go a mile, go with them too. Go the extra mile. Some people are out there and they are wearing themselves out
Mm-hmm.
and they are becoming burnt out.
Yeah.
They're becoming ineffective, not because they don't have the heart to do it, not because they don't have the skills to do it, but because there's so much that they're stretched so thin. I'm going to give you a good reference for a book. And I read this book because Tammy had read it. I got it and read it. It was The Best Yes by
Mm-hmm.
Lisa TerKeurst.
Yeah.
It is directed mostly toward women.
Mm-hmm.
However, I will say, having read it, the majority of it is just for everybody.
Nice.
The only time I felt relatively uncomfortable when she said, just remember, we're all God's girl. And I was like, okay, well, maybe not all of us.
Not all of us.
Maybe most of your readers. Right. So, but excellent book. And one of the things, one of the main points with The Best Yes is sometimes we miss that best yes that God wants for us because we're so busy saying yes to other things that are getting in the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to do less better. But
yeah,
prayerful.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying, hey, just go in tomorrow and all of the stuff that you were doing, just stop doing it.
Just stop doing it. Right.
But I'm saying be prayerful and know that you have the ability and more so than the ability, it really is necessary to say, no, I can't do that right now. That's just not going to work for me. Here's the other thing. You can explain if you want to, if they ask.
Right.
But you don't have to. You don't have to say why.
That's right.
You have the right, I think the God-given right, when people ask you to do things, to say no. Can't help you with that. Can't do that right now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because there's some people out there that have been serving and they're tired and they feel unappreciated.
Yep.
And some of that, again, some of that things that I need to work on to make sure those people know that they're appreciated and that they're loved. And I'm not saying when it gets hard, stop.
But that's true. That's right.
But look, one of the things that's the hard thing as a pastor, like I don't even want to say it. If I'm honest, I don't even want to say this.
Okay.
If the church is having an event, we would like for you to attend, but you don't have to come to every single thing that the church is doing, especially if your church is doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we got stuff on Monday and Tuesday. I mean, we don't right now, but there's times when we, in the past, where it's like, almost it's like, oh, there's something every day of the week and Saturday. And then I'm serving in church on Sunday. When are you resting? You don't have to be there for everything. Now, if you're a congregation that's small and there's only 12 of you, maybe do fewer things then.
Yeah.
and
Do
show up
fewer
for
things.
them and show up for everything, but do fewer things as a church
Right.
until you grow. But like if you're in a healthy congregation or a growing congregation, sometimes, because here's the thing too, when you don't step out of the way, then other people can't step up, and they won't.
Oh, dude, that's hit. That's right on, man.
So
Yeah.
if you're doing something, that God has not called you to do right now, if you're serving in a way that God hasn't called you to serve, then get out of the way, so that the person that has can.
Yeah. So, but the only way to know the answer to that is if you're in prayer about it, as opposed to now. Always. I think one of the things, and I think this is a trap that's really easy to fall into, because it sounds very spiritual. It sounds very, very, the placement of it sounds correct. Of, well, if there's something to do, I should do it. Like, if there's something that needs to be done and everybody says, I will go pray about it, and a week later it's still not done, and people are saying, but I'm still praying about it and it's still not done, I think it's a really easy kind of theoretical scenario to place yourself in and say, well, I mean, if I don't do it, I don't know who will. Okay, then are you going to pray about service opportunities when they come your way, or are you going to pray about service opportunities before they come your way? And that leads back to Brad, one of the things that you mentioned of service is it easy for people to serve? Is it easy for people to serve actually needs to be already rooted in the prayer of, Lord, how or where can I serve, as opposed to, I will not engage in that prayer until there's an opportunity. Yeah.
One person said it this way, and a pastor, and I don't even remember who, and so sorry, I can't quote the person. But they said one of the things that we need to do is look at what God is doing and see how he's inviting us to join him. What's he already doing? What's he working on? Where are we noticing his fingerprints? And hey, God, is that here's the other thing. Sometimes, and I think this is hard. This is hard for all of us. Sometimes things need to run their course, and they need to close, stop, die, if you will. There's some things that were ministries that were great, but the culture has changed and the things have changed and they don't work anymore. Yeah. And so sometimes we hold on to those, and we're trying to breathe life into a dead horse. And, dead pony rides just aren't fun. Not that everything's supposed to be fun, but yeah, I mean, it's still a pony, but it's a dead one.
It's a dead one.
And I mean, dragging it around the lot with the kid on it, it's just so I think we've got to go prayerfully and go, God, I've been busting it trying to keep this thing alive. Do you want it to stay alive? Is it already dead? Right. Do I need to just let it go? And I know that can be heartbreaking, because I think one of the things that people hear is, well, all that time you spent was just in vain. No, it wasn't. That's Satan. That's Satan. Yeah. Those are lies of the devil. Yeah. Like, Jesus' ministry on earth, right? His physical walking and being on earth ended.
Yes, it ended. That's exactly right. Yes.
Is Jesus still working? Yes, but not incarnate.
That's correct.
Walking around. So things have their time. There's a time and a season for everything. There's programs that may have worked for 20 years, but they don't work now. There may be things that you tried 20 years ago that didn't work that may work now. So pray about those things. And I think I want to encourage people to, and man, this is so hard. This is hard because I have to encourage myself right here. And it's like, okay, yeah, sometimes I hate when I'm saying something and I know God's saying it like twice as much.
You're talking to yourself. Yeah, right. Sure. Yeah.
Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Go out there and do and try. Zig Ziglar said, if it's worth doing poorly until you can learn to do it right.
That's right, dude. Heck yeah.
And hey, when you first start, you're probably going to suck at it.
Yep, you are.
You're definitely going to make mistakes.
And dude, and like, that's okay. That's okay. Yes. It's all right.
You're supposed to, like, do you know how many times a toddler falls down? I mean, I don't know that exact number, but before they learn to walk, like average, like a lot.
Yeah.
Like if every time your kid fell down when they're trying to walk, you were like, stop being stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe you can't walk.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you don't do that, do you? Because if you do, you need to stop because you're an idiot. That's not good parenting.
That's not good parenting.
Like, I hope you know that. That's not what God, like, God's not like, I can't believe you fell down again.
I know.
Like we're going to not do these things perfectly. Matter of fact, we're never going to. Man, I hate that too. Oh, doesn't that hurt?
Sucks.
Like, no matter how good we do, it's never going to be perfect.
It never, ever.
It can be excellent. We can learn to do it with excellence. But we also need to remember, God says, what? I will use it all. I'll use it all for good. I'll take all things and use them for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Booyah. So even your mistakes, even your stumbles.
That's right.
Even when you get it wrong, he says, if you are mine, I'll use it. Now, some of us are going, yeah, but I don't want to be in the user manual of what not to do. Hey, look, we need Jonah. We need him going to well.
Yeah, we need Jonah. We need David.
Yeah, how many times have I gone, you know what, God, I really don't want to do this, but there was a guy that ran from you once and he ended up in a big fish for 3 days. And he said that was like hell. So, you know what, maybe I'll just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I mean, arguably, sometimes that's more impactful.
That's more what?
Than the guys that get it right.
Yeah.
They're more challenged and encouraged by that sometimes than by Elijah's success.
Yeah. I know.
Calling fire down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They should both get us excited and they should both teach us. But no. Keep moving. Keep serving.
Yeah. And listeners, if you are, if you're a servant that loves to dive into service, I would encourage you to take stock, take sort of inventory, so what is it that you're currently involved in? And are you giving time that you feel good about, I guess, time in prayer towards the ministry that you're involved in, but also time in, time to your family, time to yourself, as Brad mentioned. But specifically to the listeners that are dabblers or that don't do a lot of service, I would encourage you to do this. Pray that God shows you one way and nothing more. Nothing more. You do not have to cross into the world of, well, if I'm going to serve, I guess I've got to tie concrete to my ankles and jump in the deep end. No. Pray that God provides.
I'm using that, DJ.
You do it, man.
I'm taking mental note.
Pray that God shows you one way to serve, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's all. But like the idea of serving your church in any capacity.
And there is none that is insignificant.
That's right. And Paul makes mention of this. I do believe it's in 1 Corinthians when he compares essentially the different body parts. And one of the ways that I oftentimes mention this will be the last thing I say. I kind of got a heart out, but the eyes, the hands we always kind of value as the most important. But what about the big toe? Because what about the big toe? So people, generally speaking, people don't like feet. And generally, even more speaking, that people don't like toes more than they don't like feet. But if God has called you to be a big toe, and what the heck does that look like? I don't know. But follow the analogy for the sake of it. God has called you to be a big toe. Not only are you like stinky and kind of weird to groom, but you're also covered up in a sock, which is covered up by a shoe. No one will ever think about the big toe, but without it, people fall down. Yeah.
It's hard to walk. It's hard to stand. It's almost impossible to run.
So like the idea here is
we need you, big toes.
I know it's not up to us like how important we are. You can try to get there, but it's not up to us how important we are. It is up to us to ask God, where and how do you want me to serve? And that's it. Yep. That's it. And so again, I encourage you listeners to just pray just one thing. God, where can I serve this one area? That's it.
Yeah. So and then when he tells you, do it.
And then do it. Yeah. Yeah.
When he tells you, do it. Even when at first, because this may happen to you. Like maybe he brings it to you and it's super exciting. And maybe he brings it to you and you go, oh man.
Like really?
It will be super exciting.
Yes.
Like if God is involved and he is empowering it, it will be super exciting.
That's right.
If God goes, hey, go deep clean the toilets at church. Like you're going to be like, one, I don't want to do that. Please, no. And two, hey, no. And you guys just go deep clean the toilets at church.
Yep.
Dude, like how many stories have I heard? Maybe not about that, but let me give an example that how many examples have I heard like this? Man, God put on my heart to go deep clean the toilets at church. And I was like, that's stupid. I don't want to do that. That's gross. But you know what? I finally did. And then a week later, like the old janitor came up and just was crying. So they were like, it's been bugging me for so long, but I got to get down on my knees and they hurt so bad. When I get down and do it, and I felt so guilty for not doing it. And I can't believe somebody did that. And man, that didn't happen, by the way. But stuff like that does.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Listen to him because God will blow your socks off.
That's exactly right. Big toes, God will blow your socks off. Nicely put there, Brad. I like it. Listeners,
that's all I got.
Yeah. Thank you so much for, again, investing your time. We love doing this. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on our Facebook group. Again, Brad and I are always available. menchurchstuff@gmail.com. But go serve. Bless people around you. Bless your communities. And if you're a skeptic and you're thinking, what's this word bless mean? Okay, let's not use the word bless. Honor or work with, whatever, but go serve. Brad, love you, buddy.
Love you too.
Listeners, we'll catch you next time.
See you guys.